Here's a rant for you. I'm going to tell you why things are the way they are. And I had to know I've been around 73 years. Wearing suspenders. That's old school, huh? Okay, so here's the shit. 50 years ago, you could buy a brand new Ford Pinto. I know, not the greatest car in the world, but it got around. It had air conditioning. It had automatic transmission. It had seat belts. Had an AM/FM radio. And the price tag was right around $2,000. Okay? You could buy a Cadillac Calais, or Calise, the way it's spelled. Top line, everything Cadillac, and Cadillac was luxury. You buy a two-door for a little under, actually. And you could buy a brand new Ferrari Dino, even though there was an oil embargo going on, and people were buying Ferraris as an economy thing. Gas went from 50 cents to $1, so it doubled. And you could buy a Ferrari Dino, because I did, for $12,000. Yeah, I had money back then. Not really, but I could afford a Ferrari. Can't today. So here's the deal. Back then, a elected official made good money for the expenses that he would face in his life. Middle class homes, 20 to 40, which is actually less than a down payment today. And politicians not only didn't want to lose their jobs because they couldn't find jobs that paid that well in the open marketplace, they looked at their job as a career position. I'm not going to talk about their morals. I don't know if they're any more moral than the people that we have in Washington or in your state capital today. But I'll tell you one thing, okay? That money that we're making in comparison to presidents of corporations and executives in conglomerates and even bankers, that money was comparable, okay? That money moved them into a class that what they make in Washington does not move them into. Back then, the titans of industry were few and far between. The billionaires were almost non-existent, and families held wealth, not individuals. So what I'm saying is, the reason that you got these low-level, slimy politicians in Washington and in your state house and probably in your school board and in your town councils is because they don't make very much money. They don't make general wealth. They don't make the type of money that it takes to secure the future for you, your family, your kids, and their kids, which is what they used to make. They had no idea the money they were making back then wouldn't really last them. That's sad. They thought, just like the guys in the factory that were getting Social Security and had 401ks with 5% contributions from their corporations, they thought they had plenty of money to live a really nice life. And they were wrong. Now, the congressman or a senator, without graft and corruption, lives a little better than the guy that owns a plumbing company. And trust me, the guy that owns a plumbing company, he don't live like he thought he was gonna when he opened it. Because most of these people out there that you see driving around in their own vehicles, these private entrepreneurs, they're living paycheck to paycheck. And their businesses are surviving paycheck to paycheck. And that's just the truth of it. Why? A lot of you are going to blame government programs that help the poor. But you know something? The government was the one that caused these people to be poor. The government was the one that made it capable for businesses to invest in machinery over a 25-year span and take tax breaks and replace the guy on the line that used to do the job the machine does now. And then the government gave the tax breaks to the guys that designed and built the computers that tell the machines what to do. So the managers weren't needed anymore. I never prepared for that. At one time I had 145 IQ. Don't ask me what it is today. It ain't 145. At any rate, I thought I could just get along because I was smart. And for many years I did. I walked into jobs and told the owner of the business, I'll work for minimum wage for a week. And at the end of the week, we'll sit down and decide what I'm worth to you. And that number always came up significantly above minimum wage. And then I might accept the job or I might not. Maybe I didn't like the job. I didn't intend to have any children. And I got married for the first marriage and didn't. And I got married in the second marriage and had a baby, even though the wife wasn't physically capable of carrying one to term and wasn't physically capable of getting pregnant. Well, I got the job done. And don't get me wrong, I love my daughter. She's the light of my life. I feel so bad that I was not prepared to be a parent and got rich when I was young. And I love my granddaughter that she gave me, she and her husband. And I wouldn't trade either of them for the world. But what I'm saying is, okay, that if I had 145 IQ and I didn't prepare for the future we have, then Joe Schmo, who was just buzzing along on 100 to 110 or maybe 90 IQ, it's no wonder he's screwed. It's no wonder his family is suffering. It's no wonder his lineage has a bleak outlook. And that's the way it is. I do DoorDash and collect Social Security. My Social Security check ain't bad for the amount of money I contributed to Social Security over the years and the amount of work I did. Not bad at all. But it ain't enough to live in the United States on. I'd be fine in Haiti. I'm actually moving to the Dominican Republic. And the only way I can afford to do that is I pre-build a 2-bedroom condo. And with cash that I made here doing DoorDash. Unfortunately, DoorDash has gone down the tubes, as are most delivery companies. And the reason for that is people that can't afford to go out to eat at a nice restaurant and leave a nice tip are ducking that, but still trying to get food, and they're buying it through DoorDash and tipping, maybe 10% or 20% of what they normally would tip in a restaurant if they had to face a waiter or waitress or a bartender. And they all ask, just leave the order at my door, because they don't want to face you. Trust me, I'm in the same boat or I wouldn't be doing DoorDash. So I totally understand. We also have the shut-ins that can't go out and get their own food. And, you know, it's a real service what we do. I make more money than I spend in gas. I don't have anything useful to do with my time instead of this, other than I haul my daughter around to her job, and I haul my granddaughter around to school, and my ex-wife at her boyfriend's house. I'm just saying that the reason that the people in Washington are not of the quality that they used to be is because the money that they earn is not of the value that it used to be. And I think that's pretty much it. No surprises, nothing crazy. But if you think it's bad now, let's check back in 10 years. In 20 years, I ain't going to be here, but I think I can make another 10. Anyways, I'll talk to you again tomorrow and tell you some other bullshit. Bye-bye.